I don't think it'll bother anyone. It's a good late afternoon, and we'll get on to eating as soon as we can here. I'd like to start with the compelling question that is in your program. It says here, particularly the last question. The first one's pretty pedantic in my opinion, but the third one is pretty interesting. It says how to stimulate a rapid breakthrough in the agriculture section of this region. That's a pretty good question. And I believe that primary answer to that question is three key components. First, it's vision. You got to get the vision right. You got to see it. You got to be able to visualize how to do that. Number two, you got to have the will to affect it. And also you need a little help along the way, usually. It helps. It helps enormously. And of course, the vision and the will and the help won't come unless there's success. Success, of course, is the greatest builder of everything. You could call success. I mean, you can refer to success as many, many different things. I apologize. But frankly, as an entrepreneur, I measure success mainly by profitability. Profits generate growth. Profits generate jobs. Profits generate prosperity. Profits generate children. In our case, for example, we're farming in central Ukraine. When we took over a couple of bankrupt co-houses, there were no children. In the villages were empty. People were going to the city. People were migrating. People were leaving. Last week we had our company football tournament, and I counted 7 baby buggies and about 27 children that were under 6 years old, and quite a few pregnant ones as well. Not the children, but the mothers. And so I believe all the state business doesn't amount to much. They can provide help. They can provide direction. They can provide access. Yes, but frankly speaking, it's the profits from the vision, the will, that will generate the success. And of course, it takes the passion of people. It takes you as investors. It takes we as entrepreneurs. It takes economists to measure it, as Dr. Haberlishin and some of the rest of you. So it's a joint effort. Obviously, it's a joint effort. But I want to just quickly tell you a little bit about what, it's great to have some vision, but it's better if you're going to talk about it to have a little bit of history of success in a vision. If you don't have that, then there's a lot of books that won't sell. But anyway, in our case, when I came here in 1990, when it was still the Soviet Union, I had the opportunity and the privilege to have a vision. I came from the Midwest, right along the Canadian border. My parents were Dutch immigrants, and we were farmers, and we were proud, hard-working people. And I think my father had some visions, and we had always tried to work to make things better, to find a way to make things simpler, because things weren't so easy. A lot of people think that everything was easy in America. Trust me, it wasn't so easy. And it's not so easy here. It's never easy. There's nothing easy about agriculture. There's nothing easy about the food system. There's nothing easy about entrepreneurship. But I had the chance to look at your country in 1990, crisscrossed it several times with my son. I was treated like a royalty. I will never be able to repay the wonderful treatment that I received. And the only thing I was able to give really back to him at that time was my vision of what I saw. And what I saw was, I saw a country that was trying to feed 300 million people of the former Soviet Union incredibly inefficiently, because you had to import 100% of your protein, not 100%, but 80% of your protein was being imported. And I said, we did that for many years on the Canadian border in Minnesota. But we were able to get over that. We were able to apply new genetics, new know-how, new technologies, and even the Canadians themselves in the late 70s and 80s became protein self-sufficient by the implementation of a vision to become protein self-sufficient. And my family, then as we had a chance to apply this vision, when I came here 2 years later full-time to work at it, we said all we need to do is bring the new genetics, bring the know-how, bring the passion, bring the will, bring some money, and get on with it. And 18 years later, Ukraine joined only 5 other countries in the world that is today protein self-sufficient. Now that's the success of our vision. I have another vision for you for Crimea. I think that Crimea, this region, not only Crimea, but southern Ukraine, the soft underbelly of Ukraine, I would call it, where Khrushchev had the vision to develop the most important natural resource in Ukraine, the very most important natural resource in Ukraine. Khrushchev had the vision through a massive works project of the 50s and 60s of bringing the watershed of Belarus and Russia to a controlled environment and instead of letting it run into the Black Sea and not be utilized, they developed this massive irrigation and reservoir system and canal system. And it exists to this day. It isn't gone. It's functioning at about 10 to 15% of its capacity. Should I stop there? You got the vision? 10 to 15% of its capacity. It's being utilized today. It can be developed. How? With technology, know-how, passion, money, the will of the government, and the will of the people, and it will happen rapidly if you apply that. You just got to do the economics, and I don't have the time to go through the economics, but I can just tell you. I'll give you, in our case, we don't farm big. We're not one of those big 50,000 hectare fat cats. We just make money. And we do it by adding value. We have about $12 million worth of crop production last year, but our gross sales was $32 million. And our EBITDA was $9 million, profit. 26% on $32 million of sales. Do the economics. You don't have to be fat, you have to be smart. And you have to apply it rapidly, smart, and efficiently. And if you take those numbers, you take our numbers and replicate it with what you already have, Mr. Minister, with what you already have in place. This goes to about 10 billion a year in profitability in what you're not utilizing now. And I don't have time to give you all the details of that, but that's what my numbers show. It isn't anything you have to say, well, is this going to work in theory? Come and look at our numbers. Come and look at our vision. Come and look at our will, our passion, our people, our management, and come and count the kids in our villages. Come and count the labor. Come and count these villages that are growing. See? And that's the vision I have for Crimea. And it isn't only, it can have diversity. It doesn't have to apply to field crops. It doesn't have to apply only to vegetable crops. It doesn't have to apply to one value-added system such as livestock, or it can be vegetable production. It can be any range of things. And it will be. It will be, because money will follow the profits. And money will find the markets. You just got to be competitive. The Europeans will buy what we produce as soon as we can be competitive about it. They don't like to buy anything we produce. Just sell it to them cheaper, but make more money at it. That's what it's all about. There's no reason why we can't be competitive. We know we can be. So I beg your indulgence for my overtime, and I thank you for your attention, and I hope I have a chance sometime to share the details of this with more and more of you.